with this Saturday, which is my birthday, being the Royal Rumble, I decided to go back and rank the last 20 years of Royal Rumble winners. This will be based on what they did with their Rumble win, how good was their Rumble win, what it meant for them to win the Rumble, and just overall the vibes. Over the last 20 years, there have been 25 official Royal Rumble winners between the men and the newly added women's Rumbles, with Braun Strowman's win in 2018, the greatest Royal Rumble, not counting. I will not count that. So, 20 years dates back from 2005 to 2024 last year. So I get this out before this Saturday's Royal Rumble event. We will add two more to this year's, or to the list of Royal Rumble winners. But we're only going to go back to 2005. And so I'll be ranking this 25-1, worst Rumble winner to best Rumble winner. And we're going to start at the bottom. But at number, 25, Ronda Rousey, 2022. Yeah, this was a bad winner. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Bad return run. Nobody wanted it. Horrible babyface run. Didn't even win the championship at WrestleMania. They had to drag the feud out another month to WrestleMania Backlash the following month. Then proceeded to have one of the worst title reigns in the modern era before being cashed in on by Liv Morgan. Then winning it back off Morgan and then having another horrible run as champion. Just Ronda Rousey's entire return run from January of 22 to SummerSlam of 23. Just one of the all-time worst runs in professional wrestling history. And it started with this Rumble win where Rousey returned late in the match to a chagrin. Nobody wanted her here. This was supposed to be either Sasha or Bianca going back to back. I don't even think I need to explain that much. All-time bad winner, Ronda Rousey 2022. Number 24 on this list. Could have been 25. It's Roman Reigns, 2015. Oh, man. Ooh, wow. The Tribalism Chiefs, new podcast from the WrestleManiacs Discord, Jake, KJ, and Omar, recently went over a review of the 2015 Royal Rumble, and they asked me what my opinion was of this Rumble. I was 12 years old, getting ready to turn 12. This was the first time I went from just being a fan of wrestling, loving wrestling no matter what, to questioning the booking. I went from just being a fan to a mark because of how bad this Rumble was. Nobody wanted Roman. The place booed him out the building worse than any wrestler I've ever seen. And yeah, good God almighty. This ended up almost killing the entire build to WrestleMania 31, which ended up being one of the all-time great WrestleManias. One of the worst built WrestleMania main events of all time because of this. This was not supposed to be Roman Reigns' moment, and they booked the match like dog shit, having old, slow Kane and Big Show taking out everybody before trying to hand-fist The Rock in the end. Roman Reigns was not credible at the time. He couldn't build up this match on his own. He was the wrong choice, wrong guy at the wrong time. And this single win almost derailed Roman Reigns' entire career until he turned heel and became the Tribal Chief. At number 23, some people may think this is a bit low, but I have Triple H's 2016 win. If you don't remember, this was for the championship, only the second time in Royal Rumble history that a championship was on the line instead of the main event of WrestleMania, where Triple H last eliminated Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, who was a champion at the time, to become WWE champion in the year of our Lord 2016. And this was done pretty much just to get the Roman versus Authority storyline in the main event of WrestleMania, to have Triple H and Roman Reigns having one of the worst WrestleMania main events, if not the worst main event of WrestleMania history in a couple months. One of the worst Manias of all time. That's enough said. Triple H damn near killed probably my love and some people's love of professional wrestling with this Rumble win. He did not need the championship. It was for a storyline nobody wanted, and it led to one of the worst main events of WrestleMania history. Number 22, I have Brock Lesnar's 2022 Rumble victory. The 2022 Rumble is one of the all-time worst and most disappointing shows in my lifetime as a wrestling fan. I was actually excited for this show. And then we have to proceed to have two of the worst Rumble winners ever. Please stop with these UFC fighters. Brock started this show as champion, lost the championship earlier in the night, came in at number 30 and won the Rumble in 2 minutes. And what was already an all-time bad mid-card Rumble. And he went on to win back their championship a month later. Had a pretty fun feud with Roman Reigns, but it was a feud nobody really wanted. Kind of over Paul Heyman. Ended up unifying the WWE and Universal Championships at WrestleMania and was an all-time disappointing match. Not a bad match with Roman at WrestleMania 38, just a disappointing match. And close out their trilogy of WrestleMania main events. And probably being considered one of the worst trilogies in wrestling history. And that leaves Brock Lesnar at number 22. Even though he had a fun rivalry with Roman, it isn't what people wanted. Number 21. It's notable stand-up human being Alberto Del Rio from 2011. The only 40-man Rumble ever. They debuted Del Rio less than a year, and within less than a year, he won the Royal Rumble and ended up choosing Edge to have the opening match at one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, WrestleMania 27. What would be Edge's final match and final feud for 9 years because he had to be forced into retirement. Del Rio was just not the guy. He was pushed too quickly. I see what they were trying to do. I understand. That's why I don't put this as low, because I understand what they were trying to do with Del Rio. This Rumble win immediately propelled him up to the top, but they didn't do anything with this. He didn't even win the championship at WrestleMania. He didn't even win the championship the month after Extreme Rules. He didn't even win the World Heavyweight Championship for another 2 or 3 years. He ended up becoming WWE champion later in the year via the Money in the Bank briefcase. And what was considered one of the weirdest cash-ins of all time. Simply put, Del Rio was not the guy at this time. It probably should have been CM Punk, if we're being honest. And at number 20, it is Batista from 2014. There is about, 6 names here that are just all-time stinky Rumble wins. And Batista, genuinely one of the worst Rumble wins of all time. It should have been Daniel Bryan. The fans booed Rey Mysterio because of how bad Batista's win was. And it just continued to trend in the early to mid 2010s where it was just all-time bad Rumble winner, and another bad Rumble winner. I don't know what else more to say. The only reason this is as high up as it is because at least it led to one of the best built Manias of all time with Daniel Bryan ended up being retconned into the main event of WrestleMania and made a triple threat match. So that's the saving grace of this. As I'm going through this, I completely forgot about John Cena's 2013 Rumble victory. And so I'm just going to go ahead and write that down right now at number 20. So just push everything below. There's been 26. All right, this is 26. John Cena 2013 Royal Rumble. Yeah, this didn't need to happen. This was to set up twice in a lifetime the rematch with The Rock for the WWE Championship. And directly led to CM Punk leaving a year later and leaving wrestling for 7 years. It was a match nobody wanted. It was a boring title feud. And it led to one of the most disappointingly and boring WrestleMania main events of all time, just to get Cena his win back. Yeah, the only issue is it's not as low as it is because there's genuinely no other possible winner in 2013. I hate to say that, but looking at who they could have had, maybe they could have had somebody feud over the World Heavyweight Championship, but there was no viable option to win the 2013 Rumble besides John Cena. It's the only reason it's not as low as it is. Number 19, it's a step in quality. It's a step up in quality. There's no more truly terrible Rumble winners. There's just pretty much meh to good Rumble winners after this. But this is one of the meh Rumbles. Randy Orton, 2017, his second Rumble victory. This was a weird one. They wanted to have the Wyatt feud going, so they had Orton win this, and they had Bray Wyatt win the WWE Championship a month later at the Chamber to set up Bray Orton for the first time for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. They made sure to have Roman as the last eliminated, so that way it would be a pop of Roman not being the one to win. This led to a disappointing feud, led to an all-time bad WrestleMania match, and then led to Orton winning the championship and then losing it to Jinder Mahal, who proceeded to have one of the worst world title reigns in professional wrestling history. So it led to pretty bad results, but I see what they tried to do with Orton. Personally, I thought it should have been Bray winning the Rumble, Orton win the championship, and then Bray ended up winning the championship at WrestleMania from Orton. But I digress. Number 18, Charlotte Flair, 2020. She could potentially, at a day from now, win the Rumble and win her second Rumble. At this point in time, it should have been Shayna Baszler. Charlotte Flair, they just, I guess, wanted to add her name to the prestige of the Women's Rumble. And ended up actually having a pretty interesting way to go about it, where she ended up going to face the NXT champion, Rhea Ripley. And remember, this was when NXT was first brought on to the USA Network, first brought on the television. And they really wanted to establish NXT as a legitimate third brand. And Charlotte Flair definitely helped do that. The first time the NXT Championship's ever been defended at WrestleMania. Led to a pretty fun feud, her and Rhea, but COVID pandemic derailed it. And they ended up actually having to have Charlotte win the belt off Ripley. Not because they really wanted maybe Charlotte, but more of because Ripley's visa issues were up in the air at that time. So they at least wanted to have the champion on the show in America. And you can definitely tell that was really not the plan, the way Charlotte was booked afterwards. But then she eventually lost it very quickly to Io Shirai. So that's why I rank this as high. Yes, it should have been Shayna Baszler, but they actually made it work with Charlotte. Had an interesting, different, most unique Rumble path, if you will. Nobody ever faced ECW champion back in the day. And yet somebody actually picked the third brand's champion to face and elevated as best as they could that belt, that brand. But unfortunately, the pandemic kind of put a damper on it. Number 17, Sheamus from 2012. Some people really hate this win, thought it should have been Jericho. It maybe should have been Jericho, but as a fan at the time and a fan growing up and a guy who has always loved Sheamus, I don't hate this Rumble win. They wanted to really make Sheamus even though he already won a world championship at that point, that it really didn't go well. So they wanted to legit establish Sheamus as a face of the company, as a face of the brand, and as a legitimate world champion. So they had him win this match because Jericho was already established. All right. He was already established as a definitive main eventer. He was Chris freaking Jericho. Yeah, he was the undisputed champion back in the day. Sheamus, I think, needed this more than Jericho did. Would Jericho have been a great Rumble winner? Yes. But this ended up also leading to one of the most hated wrestling moments of all time with the 17-second squash match over Daniel Bryan. But I really don't blame now Sheamus much. They had a great 2 out of 3 falls match the month after Extreme Rules, the match they probably should have had at WrestleMania. But Sheamus' World Championship reign I actually thought was pretty solid. Even looking back on it in hindsight, I think it was a great run as world champion. And it started here with this 2012 Rumble win, which actually was also one of the all-time worst Rumble matches, but I think was a good winner in Sheamus. Number 16, Edge from 2010. This was, of course, him returning early from, I think it was an ACL, if I'm not mistaken, Achilles, I don't remember. Where he came in, eliminated his former tag partner Jericho, won the Rumble in a shocker. Went on to have a pretty decent feud with Jericho for the World Championship after Jericho won the Chamber to win the belt. But didn't win his WrestleMania match. Was a weird way to do. I think he got like DQ'd or whatever to lose a WrestleMania match. Ended up having just to set up Jack Swagger that week, winning the World Championship off of Jericho in a cash-in and having one of the worst world title reigns ever. Great at the time moment, good build up to WrestleMania, but completely fell flat because of the booking at WrestleMania and not having Edge go over and win the world title. They couldn't have just had like Edge win the title and have a good run with it, build Swagger up a little bit more and then cash in on Edge. Or hell, maybe even have Edge win it, and in that same week, have Edge lose it, kind of like they did with Jericho, and then he can be chasing Jack Swagger immediately, get heel heat on Swagger. And then you have a good feud right there. Everything was perfect right up until the WrestleMania match. Number 15, Seth Rollins, 2019. The only guy who could have won it 2019. He was carrying Raw on his back for a year in the mid-card as like a main eventer in a mid-card title. So they decided to give him go all the way with him. Go all the way with him and make him the face of Raw, which didn't really work, but I think it was a good build-up. The perfect winner at the time. And honestly, one of the best openings to WrestleMania ever with him beating Brock for the title. Just a shame his run was kind of crap. But as a Rumble winner, perfectly established himself as the face of a brand, as a top world champion, and was the only viable winner at that time in 2019. Number 14, some people may have it higher, some may have it lower. I have Shinsuke Nakamura 2018. This was kind of the 2018 Rumble was for the IWC, for the smart marks, where they had both Shinsuke and Asuka win it. With Shinsuke specifically being a very big surprise, as it looked like Roman was going to be, without a doubt, the winner of the Rumble. And Shinsuke, the internet darling, won this match. Went on to have a Tokyo Dome rematch with AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. And then it all went through shit with the all-time disappointing WrestleMania match. The heel turn that went nowhere at WrestleMania, and kind of the end for Shinsuke Nakamura ever being a legitimate threat ever again. So, disappointing. Also, speaking of Asuka 2018, number 13, I have Asuka 2018. The perfect winner for the first Women's Rumble at the time. Everything was perfect. Then they immediately overshadowed her with Ronda's debut. Whatever, not great, but still. You picked Charlotte Flair. That's the biggest possible match, the best possible match they could have for the first Women's Rumble winner. The streak going into that, they can immediately establish Asuka as the face, as the most unbeatable monster, and then Charlotte beats her. This would be genuinely one of the greatest Rumble winners ever, if not maybe the best. But they just had the wrong winner at WrestleMania. Just like with Edge earlier in this list, the wrong winner, but not having her win the championship at WrestleMania, losing her WrestleMania streak, and lost her aura, and really never felt as credible ever again. It took her really until the pandemic, where she was kind of the only woman they had to ever really push her to the top again. Number 12, John Cena, 2008. One of the all-time wrestling moments was John Cena returning very early from his torn pectoral muscle, coming in, winning the Rumble, one of the all-time pops, and then really having one of the most confusing roads to WrestleMania ever. He challenged Orton for the championship at No Way Out and then lost, and then had to force his way back into WrestleMania and made a triple threat match with Triple H, because they clearly, at WrestleMania 24, they clearly wanted Orton and Triple H for the championship one-on-one, but because of Cena's very early return, they just kind of had to shoehorn him in, and they did it in the most convoluted way possible. Yeah, and then he didn't even win at WrestleMania. Orton just retained. Yeah, and then one of the most forgettable... See, everybody remembers Cena winning the Rumble. Nobody remembers the aftermath. Nobody remembers the dumb booking after. Nobody remembers him not winning at WrestleMania. Nobody remembers even the main event of WrestleMania, Edge and Undertaker, the almost forgettable WrestleMania main events ever. 24 was an all-time great show. Just forgettable for some reason. I don't know why. Number 11, Bayley, 2024. The second time a woman has come in at number 3 and won the Rumble. Weird, it's happened twice. Only the third time in history that number 3 entrant has won the Rumble. The perfect winner at the time. I actually did think that it would have been better for Bayley to not win it, but they made it work. The following Friday on SmackDown, having that turn of Damage Control, where she revealed she could speak Japanese, an all-time great segment. And they looked like they could have had the legit main event argument for WrestleMania Night 1. But then it just kind of, and seemingly intentionally, cooled off this WrestleMania feud just so that they could not have fans backlash at them not main eventing. But Bayley ended up winning the championship at WrestleMania. Had a pretty good run with the title, and still doing good things now. They just seemingly intentionally kind of derailed this so that way that people wouldn't complain about not being main event. But I still think the Rumble win, the segment turning on Damage Control, and then win the championship, that's enough to propel this number 11 on this list. And in the top 10, I have Edge from 2021. Second time Edge has won the Royal Rumble. He did it from the number 1 entrant, coming back from injury after a torn pec. No, it was a torn tricep. He torn tricep. Came back, number 1, in the Thunderdome, and lasted the whole way through, and was a really fun Royal Rumble match. Edge was a great winner. Ended up having a very, very entertaining feud of WrestleMania where he, like would have been spear versus spear with Roman. Bryan got involved, tried to do the yes movement again. Ended up having one of the all-time most fun WrestleMania main events of all time, and fully helped establish Roman Reigns as the top guy, the tribal chief, the unbeatable monster, and helped propel him to have that near 4-year-long championship reign. And it was thanks to this Rumble win with Edge. And Edge is really high on this list, and I talk about what the Rumble wins do for the person. However, it helped the entire company, Edge winning this Rumble specifically, a year after he came back in 2020. That's why I have this as high as I do on the list. Number 9, Rey Mysterio, 2006. One of the all-time feel-good Rumble victories. Of course, this was right after Eddie Guerrero's passing. And Rey lasted what was for almost 20 years. He had the record for longest time spent in the Rumble before Gunther broke that record. Won it for the number 2 entry. But the issue was with this all-time great moment, all-time winner, is that afterwards they had a really convoluted build to WrestleMania where they shoehorned Orton into this to make it a triple threat where Orton took the spot from Rey and Rey had to win it back from Orton before eventually winning at WrestleMania in one of the all-time great feel-good world championship wins. Then he proceeded to have one of the all-time bad championship runs. Not his fault, but the booking's fault. But I saw this is really high on this list just because how feel good this was, how much Rey was beloved, how much he still is beloved. And it was one of the all-time performances in the Rumble. And one of the most memorable Rumble winners of all time. And won the championship at WrestleMania. It's always a big plus. Number 8, Rhea Ripley, 2023. For the first time, the women had a number 1 winner win it. Ripley entered at number 1, lasted the whole way through, won the Rumble, and was a really fun Rumble, that year's Women's Rumble, and went on to go to WrestleMania, got her revenge on Charlotte Flair in an all-time WrestleMania match, had a year-long reign with the championship, and made herself the attraction in WWE. If you're not named Roman, she is like the attraction, the most popular wrestler in WWE at the moment. And it all started with this Rumble win to fully cement herself as the top dog in professional wrestling. There's no much more you can say. Probably even could have been higher, but I really like the rest of this list as well. Not much more to say. Last number 1 with Liv the whole time through. Eliminations here, eliminations there. Fought off Asuka at the end. And then went on to have an all-time Mania match with Charlotte and have a year-long championship reign. Number 7, the highest... never mind. I almost said the highest time I had a woman on this list, but it's Bianca Belair, 2021. The first time an Iron Woman winner in the Women's Rumble. This was in the pandemic. And this also, I remember watching this at the time. This was an all-time feel-good Rumble win. Right before the show aired, they aired a documentary of Bianca Belair's life, which kind of tipped you off at who was going to win this Rumble. But yeah, watching her climb her way through and watching a star blossom in front of your eyes in a Rumble. This was the first time that really it felt like there was I accidentally pumped that. A star-making performance in the Rumble since 2005. And the final 2 of her and Rhea felt that the most we felt like it's the future of WWE since the Cena Batista Rumble in 2005. It's like that, just like that, we had Bianca win, go on to the main event on night 1 of WrestleMania, have an all-time match with Sasha, win it, hold the championship, had the longest women's title reign of all time, and became one of the pillars of WWE. Not much more you can say. This is one of the all-time feel-good Rumble wins, directly led to superstardom for Bianca Belair. And it was a really fun Rumble. The 2021 Rumble, go back and watch it if you can. The whole show in general was an all-time Rumble show, but people don't talk about it because it was in the Thunderdome. But the Thunderdome never really bothered me. We had returns of like Jillian Hall's performance. Billie Kay had a great performance in this Rumble. And all throughout it, Bianca was right there neck and neck competing. Number 6. This is, I believe, the highest I have a non-winner. Oh, crap. I forgot to put Cody in 2023. Yeah, not great, guys. Not great. I'll put Cody 2023. I'll put that at number 10 above Edge's 2021 win. And actually, I'll put that below Ripley's number 9, Ripley 2023. So yeah, Cody's first Rumble win. This ranks below Rhea Ripley, by the way. Yeah, perfect win at the time. Number 30, established one of the biggest WrestleMania matches of all time with Roman. And we didn't know it'd be bigger the following year. Put Cody immediately into the main event scene that he desperately needed. Probably a spark to that main event title scene. Ended up having one of the all-time wrestling stories of all time. He didn't win it that year. He had a great build-up, helping unite Kevin and Sammy together. Looked like that was going to be the end of the bloodline, but it was not. And he ended up having to win it again the following year. But it set Cody Rhodes up perfectly on a 2-year-long story of finishing the story. And it started right there with winning the Rumble in 2023. And if we go back up to number 6, the highest non-championship winner was Randy Orton 2009. He didn't win the championship at WrestleMania. The reason I had this as high ranked as it is because if you go back to 09 Orton, all of the most devious stuff he did was directly because of this Rumble win. Beating up the McMahons, house invasions, all that jazz was during this run where he won the Rumble and was basically tormenting the McMahon family. Yeah, that's why. Because even though he didn't win it, Orton was established. This Orton run is generally established as an all-time run, even though he wasn't even the champion and didn't even win the championship during this technically this specific run, because of how good his heel work was at the time, and what an all-time build-up to WrestleMania match. Triple H, Randy Orton, WrestleMania 25. It's a shame the match was disappointing because of that crap DQ finish or DQ stipulation where if Triple H got disqualified, he lost the championship. If they made it a no-holds-barred match, would have been a barn burner. Even if Triple H won, I think Triple H should have probably won that match. Orton, the heel, should have lost at WrestleMania. But yeah, if it wasn't for that disappointing WrestleMania match, would have been higher. Even though he didn't win, I still rank it higher. Number 5, the highest woman I have on this list, Becky Lynch's 2019 win, the first great, winner for the women, and I think still the best. Of course, earlier in the night, Becky lost her title match to Asuka, entered the Rumble after a air quote injury to Lana, where she replaced Lana. After number 30 injury, it looked like all hope was lost that Becky was not going to win. And it looked like it was going to be another crap Charlotte win. And it led to an all-time fun build with the winner-take-all triple threat match at WrestleMania 35, the first and only all-women's main event of WrestleMania, and made Becky Lynch the superstar that she ended up becoming, and became pretty much the top star in the whole company for over a year. And so then, of course, during that run at WrestleMania, she had the car kick segment with a police car, had multiple fun segments involved. I think he punched Vince at some point, or slapped Triple H, one of the two. It ended up becoming both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, and held that Raw title for over a year. So that's why I said this fully established Becky Lynch as the top dog. Number 4, Undertaker 2007, the first time that the number 30 entrant has ever saw a winner. Undertaker was perfect for this. He never won the Rumble before. It seemed like a no-brainer. He should have at least one Rumble win under his belt. Led to a great feud with Batista. Led to a great match with Batista. And kind of picked up SmackDown for the whole year. Made SmackDown must-see television for all of 2007. Not much you could say. It was simple, easy, good, and perfect. It was just simple. Number 3, Drew McIntyre's 2020 win. One of the all-time great Rumbles. He eliminated Brock Lesnar during the match when Brock was unstoppable and still didn't win the whole thing. It looked like at the time that whoever eliminated Brock in that Rumble was going to end up facing him at WrestleMania, and the winner would face The Fiend. No, Drew did both. They fully made Drew McIntyre a main event player and one of their top superstars. Ended up going on to have a very fun build to WrestleMania with Brock. COVID hit, but Drew won the championship at WrestleMania in the pandemic and pretty much held the company on his back for a year until the pandemic ended a year and a half later. Drew. This was, when you think about Rumble, he fully made himself a main eventer with this win. And, forever and ever, Drew McIntyre can always be linked back to this. This was textbook making a superstar out of the Royal Rumble with this one. Number 2, Cody Rhodes 2024 Rumble victory. Second straight year Cody won it. First time that's happened since Shawn Michaels in the late 90s. No, since Stone Cold. And Cody, it looked like the Friday after when he gave up his spot to The Rock, it was going to be an all-time stinker, but no, this ended up leading to one of the all-time WrestleMania builds where fiction and reality blended seemingly with the power struggle of The Rock trying to mess his way into WrestleMania main event. Seth got involved, led to guys, it was last year. Y'all remember it. All-time WrestleMania build, and led to one of the all-time WrestleMania moments, if not, in my opinion, one of the best wrestling moments of all time. Cody finishing the story at WrestleMania 40. So everything you want. Fun build, fun storyline heading to WrestleMania, and then winning the championship, having a great run with the belt as well. Perfect. However, it didn't establish himself, or it didn't create a new star. My number 1 is the oldest entry out on this list, Batista in 2005. After Randy Orton's failed main event run in late 2004, they pivoted to have Batista win the Rumble and become that main event star, breakout star from Evolution, and it worked perfectly. He had a fantastic build where Triple H was trying to goat him into picking JBL, the SmackDown champion, and not pick him because he knew he was burnt toast. Batista, obviously, he wasn't stupid. He found out easily. Led to one of the all-time great segments where he put the thumbs down, chose Triple H. A too long WrestleMania main event. Match was too long, but it was Triple H. What do you expect? Batista, one of the all-time great runs as world champion, ended up having to be cut short due to injuries. And Bruce made Batista a star until today, where he's now a famous movie star as well. And it all started with this Rumble victory. And that's all I have. Ranking 27, I had to add some in there. With this, ranking the last 20 years of Rumble victors. To recap from 27 up, I have Ronda as the worst one, pretty obvious. Roman Reigns, Triple H from 2016. Number 24 is Brock from 2022. 23 is Del Rio from 2011. Number 22 is Batista's 2014 win. Number 21 is Cena's 2013 win. Number 20 is Orton's 2017 win. 19 is Charlotte Flair. 18 is Sheamus. 17 is Edge's 2010 win. 16 is Seth Rollins. 15 is Shinsuke Nakamura. 14 is Asuka. 13 is Cena from 08. 12 is Bayley. 11 is Edge from 2021. 10 is Rey Mysterio. 9, Cody Rhodes, 2023 win. 8, Rhea Ripley. 7, Bianca. 6, Randy Orton's 09 win. 5 is Becky Lynch. 4 is The Undertaker. 3, Drew McIntyre, and number 2, Cody Rhodes' 2024 win. And number 1 is Batista's 2005 win. So thank you all for listening. Obviously, talk for 40 minutes. I didn't think I'd do that. But the Rumble, it's my all-time. It's the best wrestling match ever. It's the best event every year, bar none. And I'm just so excited. And it's going to be my birthday. Hopefully, my wish comes true and I can have a better show than it was last year. So thank you all and have a blessed one.